Welcome everyone to the weekly RFOX AMA. I'm Lenny Clifford here with the RFOX CEO and Cofounder, Benny Fairbank. G'day Benny, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, doing good over here, thanks Benny. And I'm seeing a lot of positive things happening at RFOX, and that's really good considering the challenges in the NFT space. And at the same time, there's a lot of innovation and growth in the industry. What are your thoughts on what's going on right now?
Yeah, I think that, again, for those who have been around for years now, you'd be used to the sort of speculation of up and down, and you're used to the how these market trends work. And I think that last time we had a down market, a lot of people were saying it's over, it's dead. I mean, there's a Bitcoin is dead count that goes up infinitely every year. And then, as soon as the market starts to take off, you're flooded with messages saying, I was about to buy in, I was just getting ready. So it's just the standard cycle. I think it will go through consolidation, but this time it's a lot different because there's a lot of external factors that are impacting everybody globally. So I think the value proposition needs to be a lot stronger, and I think that's the good part about what's happening now, because it's going to weed out a lot of the meme coins and a lot of the stuff that doesn't actually do anything. So it puts pressure on those that are building to build something of greater value, and I think that those ones will be the ones that triumph.
Now, we are in the RFOX VALT Callinova quarter, and we're downstairs. As you can see, it's in construction. Can you share just some of the, or just describe what's happening down here, what's being built at the moment?
Yeah, so at the moment we've got Arkamoto's getting closer and closer, so we're looking forward to showing people what that looks like. We're starting to integrate different shop templates, so we've got stuff with a little bit more pizzazz and shows you what is capable and what's possible to do. Plus, we're also starting to integrate things like Fear the Game, RaSNIA Fear, to give you an example of what can be done inside of these shops. So although on the outside here, the really important thing is to balance that blank canvas to give creators the ability to sort of see what the potential is and know that they're early enough to still make an impact and a difference. But on the same token, you want to make sure that the content and that the integrations are of high quality and high level. So that's the really important part. So more templates coming right now, and also integrating stuff like RaSNIA Fear, which is quite complicated, as you'll see.
Yeah, great. We'll have a chat about RaSNIA Fear later on. And over here we can see there's these are shop fronts, right?
Yes. Well, the shop fronts are all around us, and they've generally got a banner above them. And this one's an interesting one that we'll show you about. We'll show you at the end of this talk today. All right, sounds good. Now, looking at RFOX's Citizens NFTs, they are now in the post-sale phase. So recently had the pod reveals. And what about the traits for each? Are the traits being revealed this week or soon? Yeah, so there'll be more lore coming out in relation to the pods as well, but they're transporting now. And what's happened is they started off very vanilla, so you didn't know which quarter you were going to get. And now we're at a point where you know where your pod's from as far as which quarter. And now the next phase of release will be in relation to the rarities of those particular pods. So it's kind of exciting. And the lore behind that allows for safe transport without attack. So it'll all play out in the next couple of weeks and over the next couple of months as we get closer to actually having them rigged up and ready to go. All right, for sure. And then we have the sale date for the next Citizens drop that has been adjusted. Can you give us some details behind that? Yeah, so we got some really good feedback from community, from the public, and we looked through a heap of data as well, and realised, as you stated in the beginning, the market's very difficult at this particular point in time. So we're looking at how to predominantly attract new audience in, bring more people into the RFOX ecosystem. So we've been crunching numbers, working as a team to come up with the best way forward and the best way to do that, because the ultimate goal for us is to provide value to those people that got in and those people that are getting in. So we're looking at the best way to attract the new audiences, and we'll announce how we're going to do that quite shortly.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, obviously there's a lot of work going into this behind the scenes, and that will all be revealed when that next sale comes up. So yeah, good reasons for the change to the date. Now, the Vault's Arts Quarter, which we're in right now, the Callinova Quarter, in construction, as we've said, and it's getting closer to launch. What can you now share about the Citizens law for this quarter, and how does that link to their traits?
So for Callinova is a quarter that is very much opulent in their dress, as we've seen in their style. They're very much passionate about the arts and all things culture. They've got a hierarchical system, almost a bit like a monarchy. They've got leaders, and they've got a very well-respected ladder of order, and they really, really respect that order. So you'll see a lot of art come in here. You'll see a lot of colour, splash. They're very, very, very much about that culture and about that art. And the Callinovan citizens were actually programmed with that in mind. Their job was to come into space and then to relay messages back to Earth on what things look like, how to create that, and how to bring a bit of Earth to wherever they populated as well. So they've got some strong ties back to the art and back to the culture side of things. So quite exciting.
Okay, interesting. It sounds like there could be some clashes with some of the other citizens, because as I understand, is it the from the gaming quarter, or is it that don't really respect order? They're a bit more rebellious.
Arkamoto, yeah. Arkamoto is
Arkamoto.
Yeah, they're much more like the single player game mindset. Very much more sort of like rebellious tech rebels, anarchists. They don't respect the order so much. But again, this is the great part about it. Whether there is conflict and whether the quarters do battle is going to be entirely up to the people that are playing the part of the avatars and the characters. So they're going to get to decide that. But what we've done is we've laid a good amount of tension and a good amount of possibility. And again, you've got 4 distinct civilizations that were living far apart that are now all being thrust together for the first time. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they get along in close confines.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see what choices might be available when it comes to exercising your voting rights.
Exactly.
All right, now the RaSNIA game build, that's progressing really well. We had a great demo of that last week at the company Friday night catch up, and I thought we could have a look through the entry of what it may look like. It's still in construction now, obviously, but shall we take a look at it over here?
Yeah, so it's important that people understand that this is how the world can work, and this is how the vault can work. Effectively, what will happen is people will be able to go into shops and have different experiences, and that's the beauty about it. So RaSNIA will work this way. It is baked into the application. You'll walk through the portal and into the game. So not available to public yet. This is just our internal build, but let's go take a look.
All right, I'll follow you. Okay.
Yeah, so as you'd see, if you walk into a shop, you might have a showroom or an area where you can sort of look around, purchase things, and we're going to show you some different shop interiors that we've got. This is actually a lobby for the game itself, and from here you will be able to choose to just tour through and scare yourself witless, or whether you want to actually participate in a game. So as you can see, the graphic quality is extremely high, and this is something that sort of sets the benchmark for those people coming in and wanting to build in the space. So extremely proud to have such a high quality project in here, and can't wait for some of you guys to come in here and be able to experience what we experience in VR.
All right, so let's hit the exit button and we'll head back out into the vault. All right, wow. This is just, such a great example of how
the interoperability between games and the metaverse will look like.
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, that was a really interesting build, and it shows those capabilities. But also, there's another interesting build that's happening at the moment in SHOP4 of Callinova, and we'll just show a bit of that now. Now,
should we go over there and have a look?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so in SHOP4, what's this room all about, Benny?
So SHOP4 is all about giving you an understanding of what's available, and what's possible. So you don't just have to have the small confines of a box. You can actually have areas dedicated for meetups, office space, sales, hanging out, social areas, broadcasts, and parties, and meetups, dancing, whatever it is that you want to do. So what we've tried to do is put a little bit of effort into making sure that you guys understand that this is unlimited. Your imagination sets the benchmark really for what's possible.
Okay, all right. So yeah, really cool. It looks like some sort of a gateway to some sort of psychedelic chronicles of Narnia. And it's the great thing about building. It really shows the limits and what's possible. So, are there any limits for custom builds, like in terms of the size or?
Just in areas like this, the only real limits are don't touch and don't eat what you're looking at. As far as the sizes and stuff are concerned, we've got documents that we're developing now that sort of explain what the frameworks currently are at and the confines. But ultimately, we're looking at making sure that we've got solutions that are scalable, and obviously we're looking at making each of these instances separate. So it's your space to create and to develop.
All right, and now we often talk about the four quarters of the vault, and I was recently reading the black paper and came across the central hub, that's Q5. Now, what can you share about Q5? How does that come into the roadmap? What's going to be built in there?
Yeah, so Q5 will be the central point that joins all the four quarters together, and it's Q5 stands for Quasar 5. We'll explain more about that through the lore, but that's the central area where the Guardians of the Light, that is where the light source and power source for the vault come from. And there's a group of people dedicated to making sure that continues and is researched and documented and made sure that everything's on track. And yes, the four quarters will then float around those. So it becomes the central point of connection and of distribution as far as going from one place to the next is concerned. So that will be very similar to what we've seen with the sandbox, but with a lot of differences, obviously, because the sandbox was set up to have shops. So Quasar 5 will have quite a few different little features and benefits in the middle, but ultimately that's where the Guardians of the Light, and that's where the original station is.
Okay, and by sandbox you mean the testing, the original testing environment for the RFOX VALT?
Yeah. Yes. So that will be in the middle, have the four sections around it. It will look a little bit different than it does now.
Okay. And with the apartments, they would be overlooking Q5 and also the quarters, is that correct?
Yeah, they're spires that sort of jut up from each of the four quarters. So they'll have views that vary around the different quarters, but then you'll also have your floating penthouses as well, which will be separate to those spires.
Okay. Now we better wrap it up, Benny. Are there any final updates for the rest of the ecosystem this week?
I think just more progress being made on Quest. As we stated last time we updated you, it was just going for external audit. We've also got the Arkamoto very close. Again, still working on production of the avatars and the apartments. and Arkamoto being very close will start to showcase what the transportation system will look like and where it would be. That'll also change the dynamics of here as far as access is concerned, which we're quite excited about. The template, as you just saw, the integration of RaSNIA FEAR. So a lot going on. So although it might be a bear market, we certainly don't have a bear market mentality. We, as far as we're concerned, it is build, it is continue to develop, and we're, as you can see if you're following closely, we're dropping updates at a frantic pace. We've got to balance sustainability with the pace, but it's great that we're able to sort of start producing a lot more product and content for you guys. So that'll continue.
All right. Thanks, Benny. Well, let's finish up then. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.